Hi, I'm Darci.
And I'm Kelly, and thanks for joining us for
And Another Thing,
where we talk about current events,
pop culture,
things we love,
things we don't,
all slathered in gobs of laughter.
and all the feels.
So grab a drink, sit back, and join us for
And Another Thing, Darci and Kelly in Fuschia and Blue.
Cheers. Hi, Thingies.
Hi,
Good to see you.
Greetings.
Yes, greetings, all of our puppets.
Yes.
Puppets. We have a few fun things to talk about. First thing, if you haven't seen it already, you must watch it on Netflix. And that's an homage, what we named our show to, Colin and Black and White.
Yes.
So it's about Colin Kaepernick's high school years and how he kind of developed into the advocate and activist that he is.
How you got to the NFL, which
Well, that's
surprised
true,
me
yeah.
because I was expecting a big statement piece, and there's certainly pieces which we'll pull apart here. But if you're not familiar, this is literally the story of him as a child from about middle school till he drives off to college.
Right.
And really, I was shocking. I didn't know his story.
I didn't either.
I was really surprised.
I didn't know his story. So first of all, the acting is fantastic. Let's
Really
put
good.
that
Yes,
there.
can we just talk about the actors first?
The
You
kid
got-
who plays young Colin Kaepernick is freaking fantastic.
And I forgot his name, but it's up here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the father is Phil Offerman.
Nick
Nick that guy
Offerman.
too.
Yep. And then
And Mary Louise Parker is the mother.
And they're just fantastic. And I just have to say, wherever they found this kid, his range of expression on his face,
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
when he's hurt, is just he's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
And
It's heartbreaking. And then Colin Kaepernick, adult, does a lot of the in-between stuff. He does like the wraparounds and he kind of narrates it. So he's kind of watching his own.
Yeah.
And he's brilliant. First of all, I love his voice.
Yeah.
Like he could narrate anything.
Yeah,
for
he
me.
really could. Yeah.
I never thought he was that attractive, physically, but after this, I'm like,
Pretty eyes.
His beautiful eyes.
Yeah, and his lashes and stuff.
And I didn't know. I knew he was adopted by white parents. I
didn't know that. I thought he was mixed. I thought he had one white parent.
Well, he is mixed, but then he's a mixed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was kind of right, but I didn't realize he was adopted by a white family who also had two of their own not biological children.
And it's interesting because you don't hear anything about them till the 5th episode. The second to last episode, you do not hear a peep about them.
So your brother went to homecoming dance. Wait, what? They're siblings?
And your sister,
yeah.
And it's all about him. It's all about him and his relationship with his parents and his relationship with the world.
His coaches and what's going on.
Oh my gosh. And he was a star baseball player and basketball. And baseball, he could have gotten a scholarship anywhere he wanted. Everybody wanted him.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be a quarterback. He absolutely wanted to be a quarterback, and he stuck to it. And if you've got to watch it, and just the way he's treated, and the way the microaggressions, and
realizing being a person of color to white parents who, I will say, you could tell they love him and they're loving and supportive and all that stuff, but so utterly clueless in their whiteness
clueless
and his blackness. And like at one point, can we talk about the braids?
Yeah.
He goes to get braids. Sorry, there might be a few spoilers here, but it's still totally worth the watch. He goes to get braids because there's a famous, was a basketball player that had braids.
Iverson.
Yes, Iverson. And he just loved that, so he went to get braids, and his parents were quiet at first, hoping it would be a phase that passed. And it didn't. And then at one point, his mother's like, you're going to have to get rid of those braids. And he's like, why? And she just bursts out, because you look like a thug. And the look on his face, I literally instantly teared up. His own mother is telling him he looks like a criminal. And that, I can't
Yeah.
Even in
and there were a couple of things like that coming from his own parents, and they were just clueless. But then I do have to say, she went, and bless her heart again, spoiler alert, but it's not taking anything away from this. She went to some black colleagues and asked if she could take it.
Help, I don't know what they're doing.
Because she was like getting his hair cut at Supercuts and stuff. And
nobody should go to Supercuts. Nobody. No matter what your ethnicity is. Don't go to
One of the things I loved is it really talks a lot, well, it infers that she's a horrible cook. Right. I mean, she's a horrible cook.
Right.
And like whenever he has a chance to eat around black folks,
no, right.
he's like chowing down because he's like, and the mother's like, oh, he's gonna put salt on it, and he's like, oh no, this is great.
Right.
So but like
so some of it was funny. Some of it was just oh my gosh, that's hilarious because
and like 5 different scenes she's cooking spaghetti because like she doesn't know anything else.
I'm
like,
hungry. Is there anything in the fridge? Well, there's some tater tot hot dish.
And the father's going.
I looked up tater tot hot dish. I was like, what is in this? I might need to have
this. It's like a church casserole, right?
Yeah, it's like tater tots and meat. It's like a poor man's shepherd's pie, really. And I'm like, sounds good to me. But
Exactly. But it's
just
there's
so
a lot of
Midwestern, so
funny,
Middle America,
heartwarming. Yeah. So they were originally from Wisconsin, and then they moved to like
one of the M states, Minnesota.
No,
or Michigan.
It was Wisconsin. No, they moved to it was California, but it was like
Oh right, Turlock.
Yeah,
Turlock, California. I forgot they started in the Midwest.
So they were from Wisconsin originally because the father came out here because he worked for a cheese company.
Okay.
A cheese head. Anyway, it's delightful. It's heartbreaking. It's wonderful, and I gained so much respect. Whether you agreed with him or not, if you agreed with him taking a knee or not, you should watch this.
Yeah.
Because you see where he got to that point.
And just how hard he worked. It was so inspiring. I was like, I had no idea how hard this child worked to reach his dream. He was like, he wasn't going to quit. He just wasn't going to be like, no, this is my dream and my passion and I'm going to do it.
And like I said, everybody was saying, come on, give up the football, take the baseball scholarship. Come on. Like his classmates like ostracized him, like, come on, dude, you're stupid. What are you doing? You're wasting. Anyway, it's delightful.
Yes.
And it was co-created by Ava DuVernay.
Yes. Who is so gifted at putting a spin on a story that you never, like if you've ever seen The 13th, I highly recommend The 13th. It's about the 13th Amendment and the history of how it came about and how basically the 13th Amendment has made it so that we have still modern day slavery in America when it comes to prison systems. And so there's a very controversial part right in the first episode, right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
Where he
And that's
makes
kind of a spoiler, so let's just put it at that.
Yeah,
and I agree with it.
But watch that and how he explains the process of choosing players for the NFL.
Yeah.
And how that relates historically. And we'd love to hear for me, I was like, wow.
Me too. I said it out loud. I was like, holy crap. I mean, that hit me. And then, well, there's a couple things. There were times when I was just
say what it is.
What?
I think we should say what it is.
Okay, all right.
Watch the damn show. It's still very interesting. It relates the choosing of NFL players to the slave trade.
Choosing a strong slave.
They have to stand there, literally, they stand there and they check their wingspan and they look at their bodies and they look for, like, they're freaking prize horses.
Yeah.
I'm
surprised they don't check their teeth.
Yeah.
Maybe they do, but and
they look for anything that might affect your ability to play the game at your best level, and it just, in relation to that, it's like, wow. Because the NFL is 70% black people participating and playing, but the owners are all white.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, wow, this is, and there's the argument, and here's what we'd like to hear from you. Do you feel like it's the same way? Because the argument is, now the players get paid so much money, but it's still a slave trade.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's some people's only way out
of poverty.
It's like, it's such an interesting thing to think about, and something that as white people would never have crossed our minds. And I don't watch the sports ball anyway, you know what I mean? I don't keep up on that stuff, but those of you who are football fans and you know how the draft works would be really interested to hear how you feel about that comparison.
And just in general about the show. And then Robert Townsend, who I love anyway. He directs, I think, all the episodes. I'm pretty sure he directed all the episodes. I could be wrong. But there's some talented folks behind it. So check it out. Colin in Black and White on Netflix. It's 6 episodes, and they're each like a half an hour, 40 minutes each. But so
I got through it in one night.
I could have, but I paced myself. But it's fantastic.
It's really good. Highly recommended. And very inspiring. I was like
so
inspired.
Inspiring.
Because I was like, this kid was just, he wasn't going to quit. That's it.
No, and like I said, I didn't know a lot about him.
Yeah, I didn't know his story.
He's still training so that, because he got dropped from, he was with the 49ers. He got dropped after the whole taking a knee thing. But he trains 5 days a week, sometimes 6. So if he gets the call up, he is ready to go.
Well, here's the thing interesting about that too, is that people love to say he's not playing in the NFL because he's just not that good. The kid took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. And that's what a quarterback does. That's why, I didn't actually realize how important the quarterback is in getting the game, getting the team to win. They're calling all the shots. And it's like, maybe he doesn't have the fastest arm, even though it's apparently wicked, but it's like he's making the decisions. Right. And it's like, that don't tell me that he's not good enough. If he makes the NFL in the first place, you're good enough. Second off, he got his team to the Super Bowl. Right. And so it's like, don't tell me he's not good enough. That's a freaking dog whistle excuse. That's all that is.
Exactly.
So
it's good.
Is he a Tom Brady? Maybe not, but he's still good enough to play. He's still good enough to be a quarterback and doing what he loves for a living, So anyway, that's my take on it.
And if not, man, he could keep creating shows because he's good at that too, man.
And that's happening for him, that he's at least making a living still.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm also kind of like, go play baseball, dude. Go, you have the option, and he was a great basketball player too. It's like, maybe pass the time until somebody decides they want you to play.
How old is he? I don't even know how old he is.
I don't know. Is he even 30?
I don't know. We should find out.
We could find out right now.
Let's go to the tape right now.
Yeah.
But seriously, the acting is fantastic too.
Yeah. It's really, it's worth it.
So I was going to do a segue. We're waiting to see how old.
Yeah, go ahead. Do the segue.
So speaking of the NFL.
He's 34.
34. So, to start a baseball career now. I mean, if he continues with football, he could go back to football because, Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Oh, look, I did my own segue. Aaron Rodgers.
See what we did there? Aaron Rodgers. I'd never heard of him.
I was a huge Aaron Rodgers fan.
Okay.
I was until this week with the non-vax, and so tomorrow's a huge game for the Packers, against the Chiefs, and it's a huge game, and everybody's talking about it all week. Aaron Rodgers and the Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID because he's not vaxxed. So he's been lying. So he tried to get special dispensation from the NFL that he did some sort of essential oil kind of treatment that's supposed to be...
That he got from his friend Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan did essential oils and ivermectin and all this stuff when he got COVID, and he lived, and that means that, of course, negates all medical advice and data whatsoever.
His fiancée, Shailene Woodley, is one of those, I make my own products, I don't take modern medicine gals. So yeah, in an entire organization where you have to be vaxxed, Aaron Rodgers was not vaxxed, and I don't know the whole...
Well, wait, here's the thing. The NFL does not require vaccination, but if you choose not to vaccinate, you must wear a mask at all times.
Oh, right.
And he wasn't.
Right.
And not only was he not wearing a mask like he was supposed to, he's also he'd filmed 2 commercials or something like that where he wasn't wearing a mask or whatever.
And I don't get how he was able to be on a SAG set, because SAG there's no joke. And
I'll tell you why. He freaking lied.
Right.
And I saw the footage on Twitter where a reporter point blank asks him, "Are you vaccinated?" His answer, his shady answer, where his eyes are darting back and forth, like you can tell mofo's lying. He goes, "I'm immunized." Which is technically not a lie, because I'll bet he's immunized with his childhood vaccine.
Right.
So he's technically, I'm not lying, but totally misled his entire the industry of football and is breathing in people's faces and tackling people.
And they're sweating and they're... Okay, and then Shailene has been working on a movie, and I don't know how she's on the set without it. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
My feeling is this. Okay, here's the thing. Yes, it is your personal choice, but if it is your choice not to get vaccinated, you have to take other precautions.
Absolutely.
And if your employer tells you these are the protocols you must follow to keep your job, then suck it up, Nelly. You just have to do it. It is an employer's right to require whatever the hell they want for you to work for them. And if you can't, especially if you're in public service, you have no business continuing to work in public service without being vaccinated.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Because you're putting so many people
You're putting so many other people at risk. And so, I just don't understand it either.
All respect for him. And, you know, I was just,
And he lied about it! That's the thing that really pisses me off the most, is that people are freaking lying about it. Own it if you don't want to, okay, you know, but you don't get to lie and make people think that they're safe around you. That is just, what kind of person are you? I don't understand it.
Just like I said, I lost so much respect for him, and I was a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, and I'm sorry, dude, can't respect you.
What's his position? What is he?
He's a quarterback.
He is a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then, he's in the huddle, and he's calling all the shots. And it's like, you know, I don't...
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So,
Boo.
There
Boo
you
on
go.
him.
Ta-ta.
Mm-hmm.
You had my respect, but you lost it.
I didn't dig too far into the Shailene thing. And here, let me say this again.
Well,
I'm a believer... I'll just say this off.
Sorry.
I'm a believer that holistic medicine and Western medicine can walk hand in hand. I try a natural option first. If it doesn't work, then I go see my doctor and say, I tried this, and this is not
working. Or in tandem.
Yeah,
like
or
I do
together.
This, and then I do, like I take my arthritis medicine, but I also do turmeric. I try and, because there are a lot of things that come from nature that help us.
That help, absolutely.
I'm not disputing that at all.
Right. But if that's like your only, like, I have a friend, I love her so much, but she's like, there's a plant for everything. I'm like, no, there isn't. Or we wouldn't have had to figure out a polio vaccine or a shingles vaccine. Or
people dying from cancer every day.
Yeah. It's like, well, that's the thing. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? I'm actually a believer in the conspiracy theory that we have a cure for cancer, but it's going to make a lot of companies lose money, so they won't allow it.
Patent in it, sitting in a.
I feel
that way about
have.
weight loss too.
Yes.
I feel that somebody's invented a pill that destroys fat cells, but some Weight Watchers or something bought it up years ago, and it's sitting in a vault somewhere.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's corruption in our government for sure, but as far as a world conspiracy, a global conspiracy that they're trying to kill us and track us with a vaccine, that's just, I'm sorry. We've discussed this before. To what end? They can't get our money if we're dead.
Yeah, what's the end game for that? I don't get it. I don't get it. So,
I don't know.
Get your
shame
vaccines.
On you, Aaron Rodgers.
Shame on you, Aaron Rodgers. Shame.
We need a bell.
Yeah, we sure do.
And I've never even watched Game of Thrones, but I've seen that scene.
Yeah.
And do you know who does that? The woman on Ted Lasso. She plays the team owner on Ted Lasso, and on Twitter, this was weeks ago, somebody figured that out because she's very plain and she's shrouded and blah blah blah. They don't and she's very glamorous on Ted Lasso, and they're like, I was today years old and I realized that Hannah, what's her name?
I don't know. I don't watch TV.
So good, Ted Lasso. But anyway, I was today years old and I figured out that these are the same people, and it was just like, it was pretty funny to me. But
what?
Anyway, sidebar. So what else? Oh, I wanted to bring this up really quickly, and I forgot to tell you about this. So just overnight this happened. Travis Scott, the rapper who is Kylie Jenner's partner, had a show last night in Houston. It was called Astroworld Festival. and apparently, I don't know all the details because I didn't have time to find them, but apparently people like rushed to get in and people were trampled.
Oh my God.
And there it gets better. Just pull up your pants because people rushed and were being trampled and acting like animals. Like apparently there wasn't quite enough security. There wasn't enough emergency healthcare people there, but people were climbing up on the ambulances and jumping on the ambulances and keeping the EMTs from reaching people who were hurt, and 8 people died. 8 people died at a freaking concert last night. So I just wanted to bring that up.
What is wrong with people?
That's a thing.
What the F is wrong with people?
You watch this footage of these people rushing in, not a damn mask on a single one of them. And they're all kids. They're all like, 20s. You know what I mean? That you would expect to be going to a rap concert. It's not going to be old folks like us, basically, But, and it was just like, they're acting like they were raised in the wild. And I'm like, what? On one hand, Gen Z is so spectacular. And then on the other hand, there's just a bottom rung of the worst of the worst behavior.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Wow.
So anyway... our
hearts
prayers
go
and our
out,
love
to
the families and those poor kids who just wanted to go and have a good time and ended up dying. That's insane. So yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. So anyway, blessings to them. We wanted to mention that.
Absolutely.
Can we lighten things up or something? Or do you have something else to
Yeah,
add?
well, I was just going to say, just on a side note, and then we're going to get to things we love, but this whole way to go, Bradon.
Oh, right.
I didn't know what this was. I kept seeing this, like, hashtag way to go, Bradon, So
let's tell the good people who may not know what it means.
So for those of you who don't know what it means, it was at a NASCAR event, I believe, and people were chanting F you Biden, F you Biden, and they didn't say F, they said, fill in the blank. And the newscaster who was interviewing a NASCAR driver's name is Bradon something. I'm sorry, I don't know NASCAR drivers. He said, "Oh, look, they're cheering for you. Way to go, Bradon. Way to go, Bradon." And it wasn't at all. So that's now that is the right's little F you to Biden. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So that is their little in-joke.
There's actually a little, there's a Southwest pilot.
Who said it on...
Said it over the thing. We're going to be like, here's our weather. They always say the weather in such and such city is such and such, blah, blah, blah. And he ends his announcement with, way to go, Bradon. And apparently, half of the cabin went, like probably half of them who knew what was going on were like, are you kidding me right now? Probably the other half on the side of him were like, woohoo! So there's this big controversy as to should the guy be fired? My feeling is he shouldn't be fired for his political beliefs. However,
you don't put it over
it is not okay for the pilot of an aircraft to, in a country as divided as we are, like I wouldn't have felt safe after that. I wouldn't have felt safe. Because then he knew that he had shouted, he dog whistled to the dangerous people who agree with him. Because at this point, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
People who are pro that guy, I can't say his name, sorry, are dangerous people, as far as I'm concerned. And that is not a place for you to state your political beliefs, especially in such a divided time. Not when you literally have the people's lives in your hands. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He definitely deserves some kind of huge consequence. I don't know if he deserves to be fired, but he definitely needs to be disciplined for that nonsense.
So keep an eye out for it if you haven't heard of it, because you're going to see it everywhere.
Did you see what I posted on Facebook when they announced the jobs? So jobs, 531,000 jobs, new jobs created in October. Yay. So that's good news. And I posted on Facebook with a link to the story about the job creation. Hashtag thank you, Bradon. And that was actually going on Twitter as well, that people were turning that stuff around.
Good.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, you can be mad at the president. I don't love. I mean, I feel like he's trying his hardest, and some things he's probably
I'm not
done great
either. But
but it's his first year at all.
I haven't heard boo from Kamala. You don't hear boo about Kamala, which that's weird to me. But
that is weird. It's
that's
a big
enough.
thing.
We probably should wrap up.
Yes.
Because we've been yammering. So, in lieu of our things we love this week, we are going to do for the next couple months, probably November and December, because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
We are going to highlight our very talented friends.
Yes.
So this
turn you on to what they're doing.
That's right, and where you could see their stuff, and in the future perhaps have them on the show. So. So you go ahead with this one, because you're a very proud
mama. I'm a voice coach for my bread and butter. I teach people how to sing.
How to hiccup.
How about I have some more wine? How to sing. And three of my students, 2 were together in a band, and one is the lead singer of a band. Both released singles on Friday, right before Halloween, and one is The Key of F. Here's some of their information. We'll also post it on our Facebook page. And the Toxhards. They're both rock bands, but very different styles. And I'm very proud of them. They've been working really, really hard, and they're both doing great music. And so we wanted to turn you on to that.
So we love you guys.
Yes.
And great for doing what you do.
Mm-hmm. And thank you guys for checking them out and supporting independent music.
Absolutely.
And if you can
download
if you
them,
like it, buy it, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching.
Thanks,
Stay
guys.
safe, stay sane,
and healthy and hopeful. See you soon.
and drink.
And drink.